Alright bro, it's T-Man and I'm back bro with a new video. Jeff Nippard just popped up this on the radar, this brand new video, man. How to train for pure muscle growth, science explained. Yes, bodybuilding science explained. Really, he's using bodybuilding science? Wow, it's interesting. I never seen him really use any of the science that I put up from NCBI, but let's see what he has to say. I haven't heard from him in a long time. Look at this cute little body he has here. I know he's an influencer. He faked it. Yes, let's watch this.
In this video, I'm going to explain how to train for pure muscle growth, and I'm going to lay out 5 crucial
Manlet power, bro. I saw him on a stage when he was like posing with these guys. He looks so small. They outstood him.
bodybuilding principles that must be followed to maximize your muscular development. This video isn't about how to get stronger. It isn't about how to...
What do you mean it's not about how to get stronger? If you're getting bigger, you're getting stronger. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways, okay, he says growth of muscle. If you get muscle, aren't you not getting stronger? This is ridiculous.
Get both bigger and stronger. This video is about maximizing pure muscle gain.
What are you talking about? If you maximize pure muscle gain, you get stronger. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is the mentality, what they've taught you, where some of the fake pseudoscience or whatever's out there, whatever, this voodoo science, whatever stuff, they all want to make you think that if you gain muscle, you can't gain muscle. Is really hard to get. Myonuclear domain size limit, the progenitor, and you can't get muscle damage, so forth and so on. So he's going to use tension. Let's see this video. I just saw the beginning.
Chapter 1. Tension is king.
Okay, so the first
Tension is king. Yeah, you have to. That could be a way to cause a signal to the muscle, and say, well, there's a lot of tension on here, so we have to do something. But if there's not enough resources, it won't grow. If there's not enough resources, it will not grow. Especially on a herbivore diet, that will weaken you more. Eating a fake diet. What makes you stronger, your body, is your natural raw carnivore animal diet makes you stronger. And if you're not eating that, you're getting weaker by lifting these weights, because sugar and toxins make you weak. And it's an inflammatory response, accelerated aging, and so forth and so on. It doesn't really help you. You see what I mean? It ages you and weakens you, yes.
non-negotiable principle is that tension is king. At this point, tension is universally recognized as the primary factor driving muscle growth. Tension is the force that our muscles experience.
No, protein synthesis must exceed breakdown, and that is the driver of growth. You understand me? The tension is just a signal stating that something is going on there, so we need to adjust to get bigger. We need to get bigger to get stronger, to accommodate so you don't get weaker and fall apart and die because you're doing something repetitively. Maybe this is something you're doing repetitively on a job, lifting, I don't know, a boulder or something. It's going to have to do something there. It's very specific.
When they stretch and contract.
Like factory workers, the body has to adapt to lifting these heavy boxes by giving you a certain amount of size. So then it's stronger, so you don't fall apart. But with a weak diet, you're weak, and anyways, you're falling apart, and that's why you're aging, accelerated, this, that, whatever. You're just doing everything wrong, but whatever, man.
Under load. If you think of each muscle fiber as a rope in a tug of war, that stretching and pulling on the rope is tension. That tension then causes a biochemical signaling cascade that ultimately tells the muscle it needs to grow bigger. So how do we maximize?
Yes, it triggers it. It says it needs to grow bigger, but what if you're not exceeding that breakdown? You're breaking down proteins, so now you need to look. Protein synthesis must exceed this breakdown to grow. See what I mean? So if it is breaking down these proteins at the same time, you have to compensate for the breaking down part, and then the net zero, and then going above that. So how much do you need to eat? How much protein? And remember, nutrients build muscles. That's in carnivore diet, a raw carnivore diet, which will make you stronger and better, accommodate. But you'll never really build muscle if you're not doing properly. If you're not exceeding that protein breakdown, the only thing you're growing there is an inflammatory response and some gravitational loading, unloading, because the weight, there's a load on there. So it's fake artificial muscle growth. And if it's a herbivore diet, you're going to pump glycogen in there called sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So these are 3 fake hypertrophies.
Tension on a muscle? Well, answering that question leads us into the 4 remaining principles.
He's definitely not damaging unless it's the first bout. But after that, the repeated bout effect protects muscle from any more damage with a repeated bout. We all know this, it's in science. But the question is this: it will reach a myonuclear domain size. It did at 15, but you're trying to further that with the first bout through muscle damage. Then it protects itself, and then the progenitor is beyond where it can donate any more extra nuclei to further any more growth of that nuclear domain. And you need these nuclei to synthesize protein to further growth. But at some point, it will stop. What will happen? Well, it'll take on a life of its own. It'll start to give you it'll give you myocytic androgen receptors. Because it needs to further you, it needs to keep you going through a famine. It doesn't want to give you muscle, your body. You just think in your imaginary mind it does. It doesn't want to grow muscle, really it doesn't. What it'll give you is a fake sense of strength called myocytic androgen receptor strength. The myocytic androgen receptor controls the strength, but not the mass of the limb muscles. But what controls the mass? Well, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. Now, if you force the muscle to grow by exceeding that breakdown, then it's forced now to grow. But it isn't forced to grow because you put tension on it with a stupid metal band and some weights. Get it, dude?
Chapter 2. Use bodybuilding technique.
To ensure maximum tension, we need to perform exercises
Never heard that one before, but whatever, okay.
using a specific type of technique that I'm calling bodybuilding technique. This technique
So he fabricated this, calling it bodybuilding technique. Let's call it whatever technique. Yes, okay.
is different from powerlifting technique, and it's different from how most people lift.
None of these techniques exist. They don't do anything. They don't do anything but give you an inflammatory response. If you're on herbivore diet, sarcoplasmic muscles, these are all artificial muscle growths. The inflammation that you're chasing by chronically doing these things chronically, your body's not growing anymore because you're not exceeding that breakdown. You must exceed that breakdown to force growth out of that. But it'll reach a nuclear domain size limit. That progenitor is not going to donate any more nuclei to further that growth. You have to do something very specific to force that satellite cell to donate its nuclei to further muscle growth. You understand me? It's a two-part window. I can't explain this in this video. Why should I?
I was at an LA fitness gym the other day, and I noticed just how few people actually use bodybuilding technique.
I'm not going to tell any of you how to get over the myonuclear domain size limit. You can read it for yourself. Type it up, PubMed, myonuclear domain size limit. What controls that? You reach the ceiling limit during hypertrophic process where the progenitor, the satellite cell, is beyond where it can donate any more extra nuclei to further any more growth. Men have this fucking memorized practically. Then it takes on a life of its own, myocytic androgen receptor strength. Get it? That's what it gives you. It gives you more receptors and it gives you some molecule strength. It's fake. To lift something, to move objects around because it's gravity. You're on a planet. Get it? And then you get fake muscles called gravitational loading, unloading. There's a little bit of stress on the cell. It kind of unloads, loads, unloads. It kind of blows up. And then inflammatory response, which accelerates aging and everything else. So you're inflaming the muscles constantly, getting inflammation, walking around, pretend muscles. Then you're coming back and hitting again. So you can keep walking around with inflammation muscles. Then if you're eating a herbivore diet with your complex carbohydrates, sugar, whatever, you're getting sarcoplasmic muscles. That's fake. Because in your real diet, which is carnivore, you'd never get any of that. You wouldn't get sarcoplasmic muscles, but you get inflammatory muscles if you're doing it wrong repetitively, something. It's bad. Even factory workers get this. Anybody on labor jobs get this. They know what this is. It's not undifferent than you going to a gym lifting. You think that's separate from doing labor work. Duh.
Almost nobody was ticking all the boxes. The first box is lifting tempo. For bodybuilding, we generally want a controlled 2 to 4 second negative. If you're used to just letting the weight free fall, this will feel quite slow at first. But this is important because research shows that
So that will magically build a muscle without food. Okay. What are you going to get there? Nothing then. You're going to get an inflammatory response. Inflammation there. Flammaging. You're going to flammage. Get it? Yeah. And you're getting some gravitational loading, unloading on that cell, bro.
lowering phase, or the eccentric, is very likely more important for
When you go home and unload, then it's gone. It disappears.
muscle growth in the positive phase, or concentric. Yet, for whatever reason, most people lift
Yes, you're growing muscles. Yes, inflammation, fake muscles, artificial muscles.
as if the opposite were true. Most people just try to get the weight up and then forget about lowering it back down, especially as they get tired toward the end of a set. But this is a mistake, because the reps toward the end of a set are the most hypertrophic, and the negative is the most important part of each rep. So you really want
They are really, eh? if you're not damaging muscles because of the repeated bout effect phenomenon, it protects muscle from repeated bout. We know that since NCBI can check it. If we know that you're not getting any more damage, what are you getting? You're not getting these micro injuries, should I say? You could damage muscles, like, I don't know how you would put this, damaging like these muscle, whatever, molecules or cells or whatever, breaking down proteins. I don't know what kind of damage that is. There could be other damages in there. I'm not sure. Raws, oxidative damage, a bunch of other things. Toxicity that you're eating these toxic foods. There's some of that damage going on in there. What you're damaging is you're shortening or you're lowering the satellite cell pool. You're diminishing it by doing this, by constantly proliferating it, because you're chasing that fake pump and that fake inflammation in the muscles. You're not building any muscles. It's all fake. You got sarcoplasmic muscles. Can you prove you built real muscle? Prove it. Show us. Cut your arm open and show us, man.
Want to control and resist the negative, especially on those last few reps. New research also indicates.
Try to do that on a pure carnivore diet and see what you look like. Get rid of your herbivore diet. I could tell you're puffy, bro. It's herbivore diet. You're not a herbivore, okay? Stop pretending. You don't eat the grass, you eat the cow. But you could pretend and act. You could be an actor. Act. It's people act every day. Acting judge, acting police officer, acting cop, acting astronaut. They're all actors, get it? Acting fitness dude. You know what I mean? You're an actor. It's fake.
States that for muscle hypertrophy, slower eccentric movements should be paired with faster concentric movements. This means that while you want to go nice and slow on the negative, you should be more forceful and explosive on the positive. So if I'm doing
yeah, when you do that, you get more inflammation in the muscles, so they look more puffier. Yes, great.
Hack squat, I'm thinking control. You necessarily always need to use a full range of motion, but you do need to get the muscle sufficiently stretched while lifting to maximize hypertrophy.
Why do you have to get it stretched? You're just getting inflammation in there. There's nothing going on. It's protected. There's no damage. You're not bypassing myonuclear domain size limit doing any of these things. It's more specific.
So if you're not feeling a deep stretch at the bottom of the...
And so you're not eating enough protein to exceed that breakdown. So what exactly are you doing there? See what I mean? You're eating a herbivore diet. You're using that as an energy to continuously lift. So it's using that energy in there. So it's kind of preserving the muscle too, in a way. Yes, no.
Range of motion, you should try to find that stretch by going a bit deeper.
Chapter 3. Effort.
You need to push sets hard, and unfortunately, research consistently shows that most people simply don't push their sets hard enough to maximize muscle growth. It's very common to see people hitting the gym.
They don't push their sets hard enough to make muscles grow, but you can make muscles grow because protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown. If that's not going on, then real muscle won't grow, but they're pushing enough sets to grow this artificial muscle growth, like inflammation, gravitational loading, unloading, and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, because they're eating herbivore diets like all of you. I know, I've seen you eat, bro. Herbivore diet.
Year after year, but making no noticeable progress. In most cases, this
herbivore diets actually weaken you over time, especially the oxalates, because it's got toxins in there and sugar. That weakens your body over time. How can something that is deficient in any nutrient and is anti-nutrient and is toxic, how can that make you stronger? If anything, it makes you weaker, especially if you're lifting weights now. See that?
Isn't because they've maxed out their natural potential.
And you're like, fuck, that's why they have you all convinced you're weak. So then you're like, oh, I have to lift a heavy weight to pretend I'm strong. To get myocytic androgen receptor strength. Yes.
It's usually because they simply aren't pushing their sets close enough to failure to stimulate new hypertrophy. So how hard is hard enough? And how important is going to failure? Well, since I published my last video on this topic, there's been a bombshell of a new meta-analysis that has the science-based lifting community buzzing, and I need to update a few things. First, I want to quickly announce that I just launched my new pure bodybuilding program.
See, he launched his pure bodybuilding program. If I launched a pure bodybuilding program, I'm pretty sure everybody would be interested in it, but it would be the difficulty, the bar of it would be, I don't know if people would do it, not do it. They're not really into doing real. They like doing these fake things like Jeff Nippard, 3.96 million brainwashed people on this channel.
For pre-order over on jeffnippard.com, and we're really prioritizing effort in this program. And to manage recovery, weight barbell press, and it's on to machine hip adductions to get the legs nice and warmed up for leg press.
That's more inflammation.
A lot of people who endorse high-intensity to-failure training have been using this study to make their case.
Yeah, to get more inflamed muscles. That looks like you built muscles. That's all. Yeah. Inflammation, okay.
That if you want to maximize muscle growth, you need to push sets all the way to failure. And I do think they have a pretty good case for that training approach with this study. However,
Yeah, you have to push it to failure to build muscle. It's not based on food. Yes, okay.
what I haven't seen them showing is this other brand.
Yes, that's fake too.
Chapter 4. Give your muscles a reason to grow.
To build bigger muscles, we need to give them a good reason to grow. If we keep doing the exact same thing.
The question is, though, people are lifting chronically in the gym. Why aren't they growing? They're constantly lifting there. I know a gym, I go there. I go away for 5 months, a year, 3 years, something. I come back there. They still look the same. They've never changed. There's nothing happened, bro. If anything, they look smaller. So why aren't they growing? They're giving a reason to grow. They're constantly going to the gym and lifting. Why isn't that working for them? Don't weights build muscles?
Week after week and month after month, our muscle growth will fairly
Other than this fake inflammation muscles.
quickly plateau. So to keep things progressing, you need to apply the progressive overload principle, where you aim to
Oh, you have to apply the progressive overload principle. If that's not working, you gotta apply that one, and that's gonna make it work. Yes. That's gonna make it magically grow. Yes.
increase some training variable from week to week. Now, there are a few main ways to apply progressive overload specifically for bodybuilding. First, you can add reps at the same amount of weight. For example, on bicep curls, you could do 3 sets of 10 in week 1, 3 sets of
Oh, you can do all these to create some of this fake growth, artificial muscle growth, inflaming your muscles. Yes, great.
11 in week 2, 3 sets of 12 in
Yeah.
muscle. As a final option, you can try to improve your mind-muscle connection by really
muscle connection. Mind-muscle connection builds muscles. Yes.
Chapter 5.
Yes, chapter
This
5.
approach is probably too basic to maximize
Oh, chapter 5 here. What is it? Squat, bench, deadlift, pull-ups, and rows. Yes, very nice. Yes, nice exercises. Getting good at doing those is great. Getting good at doing those are great. But
muscle growth.
I don't know about them building any muscles.
That's for 2 reasons. For one, there will be pure hypertrophy. We want to at least
You can practice at anything, but it doesn't build a muscle. I play chess, but I don't see my arms getting bigger either. Get it? Am I not giving it enough reason? Listen, I rake grass sometimes. I rake the grass, cut the grass. I do a bunch of stuff. Cut trees, logs, move things around. Am I giving enough reason to grow? Why isn't it growing exactly? What's going on there? It's growing, it's not growing. Why? What's going on?
err toward exercises that have a high stimulus to fatigue ratio. Now, this doesn't mean that any exercise
High stimulus to fatigue ratio. That's the secret. Yes, that's what's going to make
that causes fatigue
Yes.
is bad.
That gives you more
Fatigue is
information. The fatigue. that gives
inevitable
you
and
more. Fatigue, to high stress, whatever. Stress. I like that word stress. Yes. Accelerate aging. Yes. I enjoy doing that. That is my whole goal, to go to gyms, accelerate aging, get old, get disease, fall apart, weaken myself, eat a herbivore diet, get more weak, lift heavy weight, and destroy myself. Yes.
necessary part of training. But generally speaking, if we can pick an exercise that offers just as high or higher of a stimulus for less fatigue, that's going to be a good pick of motion, including in that important stretch position at the bottom. Now, I don't want to overstate the superiority of machines and cables. Free weights have some advantages.
Yes, they do.
Plus, we already know that do enough volume,
Yes,
breathe
volume.
between sets. And then there are specialized hypertrophy techniques like long length partials,
Oh, specialized hypertrophy techniques. Oh, these are cute. Yes.
myo reps, and drop sets, which can all be helpful for driving
Myo reps and drop sets. Yes. If that doesn't work, do a myo rep, this, that. Why do you have to do all these things? Why do you have to do all these things, these variations and everything, and drop sets, this, that, bench, heavy, this, that. Why is not one thing? Can't one thing work? Or you have to do so many things to get this muscle to grow? Yeah. Especially on like cereal, right? You're gonna eat these cereals and things, and like, what is it? Oats and shit. Yeah, man, donuts, and what else you gonna eat there? Some engineered fruits and vegetables with oxalates and poisons and toxins in them. Sugar has oxalates in there too. I bet you're drinking coffee, right? Gotta get some speed in there, more toxic soup, right? Filled with herbicides, pesticides, and all these to weaken you even further. It's cause more cellular damage, age yourself, accelerated. Your face looks older now, Jeff. You gotta stop doing this. You're destroying yourself, young man. You're becoming an old man now. You're not a young man anymore. I don't know what else to say there, bros.
continued progress beyond the beginner stage. Now, I'm going to cover at least
Yes, continue progress beyond the beginner stage. I'll see you in the next one. I don't know what else to say there.
5 or 6 of these techniques in an upcoming
These
for
beautiful
bodybuilding.
techniques,
This is
yes.
definitely not like any of my other programs, and I filmed over 200 private exercises.
Yes. Jeff Nippard, he's like a specialist. He knows everything. Man, go out there and buy that. Gonna be like Jeff Nipp, huge and massive, bro. Anyways, tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe. See you in the next one. Ciao, bro. Yeah.